Hi, I'm Tyson.
I'm Colin.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Adam.
And we're the Gamesmith, and we just got done playing House Rules, and we want to talk to you a little bit about our experience with it. To start, I have some thoughts on my personal experience, and I had a lot of fun with this one. This is the second time I've played this game, and there's been some tweaks since the first time we played it, and I think that for the most part, it's made the game better. There were more blank cards added to the deck and things like that, and that was really fun. I think, in general, for me, the game as is just silly, plain, simple fun, and that's enjoyable. There's a lot of really good things about it. The creating your own cards, the kind of dynamic between ongoing jokes, fire hose farts, whatever else.
Yeah.
Like, we had some stuff like that. That was fun, that you could make longer the more you play the game, that
Right.
type of thing. There's a lot of just fun, clean, simple humor that can be had in the game, and I think we mentioned this the last time we played it, but I think that the cards themselves are just humorous enough, they're just witty enough that it facilitates that silly fun on the get-go, and I think that there's a lot of that. So I had a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah. It's almost like that mood is packaged into the box, and from the start that, I don't know, just kind of fills the air, and I know it puts me into a really silly mood, like, quick.
Well, I like
And-
that it lets you invent, it lets you be creative, it lets you think of something and use your mind towards something funny or something stupid. That's a very enjoyable
Yeah,
experience.
it gives that space of creativity while having the mood already pre-packaged into it to allow for the most optimal
Yeah.
silliness.
Well, and it draws you in a way that I think most games of this type I don't feel do. So I play, anytime I'm playing a party game, it's with people in an awkward situation, like people I don't know very well, or I rarely get together with good friends who are gamers and play a game like this.
Right.
This is not quite as party game as some of those games that I'm referring to. So I could see us playing this from time to time just to get silly. But whenever I'm playing those types of games, a lot of times the game comes out and it gets more awkward. The game doesn't necessarily draw me into a mood where I'm now, the awkwardness is kind of gone because the game's there and now we're all having fun. It just kind of adds to the awkwardness. This game, I feel like somehow you did it. I don't know how you did it, but somehow I don't know, the game just kind of takes over immediately. It did that last time to me when we played this game. And I think whatever you did there, however you did it, it's special and it works, and I think it's great. I also see that you've upgraded the art since we last played. I think it's spot on. I love the hand-drawn, like it's professional enough that it doesn't look cheap or like you were just trying to cut corners, so it looks really professional, but at the same time it looks very homemade, and
It's that whole package.
it's
to add
spot
in.
on. Like, I just the
even
whole
the
image
the
of
detail of the marker, like having like
Yeah.
a
What was it
Sharpie
called?
written in.
what was written on the marker, Game Changer or
yeah.
something,
Yeah.
stuff like that. There's little, it's just spot on. Like everything about it. It's just
Yeah,
really,
I was reading it. The emblem for the game is on top of the lid. Like all
Right.
the
Yeah.
detail. It's
So,
like
yeah.
wow.
really good.
Like, and I will say, since we played this last time, going around thinking of all the games we played this last year, House Rules sticks out as one of the ones that I really enjoyed the most
Yeah.
last year, and this was still very enjoyable and good. I want to just mention that. So
Yeah.
any feedback we give you is still high praise about your game. We really think it's a top-notch game, and
Yeah.
you're being successful.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I would echo these guys' sentiments as well. That it was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it. It was good. It was fast paced, and I think it's ready to go. For the most part, I think it's ready to go. We do have a couple suggestions. One of the kind of few feel bads during the game. One, I think, were the three action cards that don't replace themselves, break the game, double, and misfire. The other three allow you to draw a card, and they seem equally powerful as these, and allow you to draw a card, which, when it all shakes out, the cards are your points, essentially. And so to have one of these cards that don't score, the misfire, the double, or the break the game, that don't score any points, you draw them and you feel like, oh, I'm just down a point already. Like I'm already one behind just by drawing this card. And further, the break the game card itself is just kind of like the part of the fun of the game is the rules, and just having those like go away. I don't know. I just
Well, that
to
first
me,
round, we
yeah,
ended up getting rid of all but one
Yeah,
rule,
like-
and the rule that we didn't get rid of was the
was
phone touching one,
relatively
which-
insignificant, and then like the rest of the game was just to like, okay, my number's higher than yours. All right, let's get on to the next round. Like, I don't think the game benefits at all from getting rid of the rules. Like, if anything more, I would, if anything, I'd
Add
have
another rule.
Yeah, I would have the break the game, flip over a random rule, and add a fourth rule or a fifth
Yeah.
rule or a sixth rule. Like, you should be adding more rules, not taking them away, because that's where the fun of this game
And that's
like
where the fun was in the
chaos-
first game we played,
comes
because we
in,
had so
yeah.
many rules. We were trying
yeah.
to figure out how we
I
circumnavigate
remember
that
that.
whole board that we never got
Oh
rid of.
yeah,
through
that's
the-
right.
We
I remember
lined
that,
them
yeah.
all up.
Yeah.
The first
Yeah,
time we
did
played it,
all
we
of
never
them.
cleared the board, and
Right.
things got super complicated, and it got pretty
It
ridiculous.
was fun. We had a
But
great time.
it was
yeah.
fun. So yeah, I would, just because, yeah, like it. I don't think it adds anything to the game. It just kind of takes the fun away to break the game by removing the rules. So I'd almost just get rid of that card altogether. But other than that, we'd actually like to see an increase in the number of action cards overall. We felt there weren't quite enough. There were enough that like things happened sometimes, but not enough that it like didn't kind of feel weird when I was just like, okay, so I play a 7 and that's higher than your 4, and we're all waiting. Like no one's doing any math or trying to figure out if 7's higher than 4 or who wins or what. We're just like, okay, it's kind of, is it really that easy? Is anybody going to mess with this? And most of the time nobody did, and that kind of felt like, okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Like I'll take that then. And like I think the fun comes in with the action cards. So we were thinking double the number of action cards. You have about 10% of the deck as action cards right now, and maybe bump it up to about 20% of the deck being action cards. So you have, on average, a player draws about 1 per round, and there's just a little bit more kind of
With each card
interaction
having a
than
draw
that.
effect.
And with each card drawing to replace, so you still
Yeah.
are getting points for those. So
I
I
think-
think
I was just going to
Uh-huh.
say along those lines, part of that reason for me, I believe, is that calculating part is not as fun because it is distinct, like Ryan was saying, that, a 7 is greater than 4, there's no calculating. The defender already knew that there was nothing they could do. So for the defender, that was like, I was going to lose no matter what. If somebody plays a higher card than me, I'm going to lose because of what's in their hand. The attacker has the anticipation of going and seeing, okay, I'm going to play this card, and so am I going to win this or not? And so that question creates that anticipation, which is the fun part, I think. And so
Yeah.
attacking was distinctly more fun, but there wasn't enough of that rebuttal that made it fun. So the defense was a lot less fun because you couldn't decide, I can stop that, or I can that take that element.
Because if you're
wasn't
not really
in there.
involved, what is my stake in saving you and not saving this times 2 defense
right.
for myself? I'm not going to just do that.
Well, and I think that Colin had an experience a couple of rounds where he had the highest defense card around, so he rarely got to attack very much, and so he was just sitting there playing the defensive game, and he got a fair amount of points doing that. But I
I didn't
don't
get a
think
lot
it
of
was
interaction
Right.
with
Right.
much of anything. I just kind of like, well, I guess I have 4 cards in my hand, so I guess I score all those.
Yeah, and
And,
it's nice that you're not out of the game,
Right.
Like that you're not like, hey, you didn't get to do anything, and
Yeah, it
just
was
discard
12
those
to 12
cards,
to
lose.
15 to 12.
Yeah,
so
like
it was
so it's not like you were like,
close.
it's not like you're
But
like,
I just didn't get the interactions and
Right.
never got around to me. And I was like, well, most of my cards in my hand that I saw were all high, so I didn't really have a choice but to play a high card, so I might as well play the highest.
and it is a valid strategy,
Mm-hmm.
but
it's
it's
not,
not
the fun, of
yeah,
the game.
like you still get points for it, so you can be like,
Yeah, I'm
but
in
it's
this,
not,
but
yeah, but it's not exactly fun.
I think what that, staying on that same topic, I think what it did to me to not have any kind of rebuttal fight, take that element of the game, is it confused the theme of the game for me. So when I hear Ryan read the rules, he reads the description of the game, and pretty much the thesis statement or what you're about to do and why, I get excited that we're in this kind of, I don't know, I see a bunch of kids, I'm a kid in my little thought here, when he's reading the rules. I'm a kid in a house, maybe it snowed 3 feet outside, and we're all stuck in the house, and we build the forts, and we push the couches around, and he's got a tennis racket, he's got Nerf guns, I've got pillows, he's got whatever.
Farts.
And we're all, Nerf balls or whatever, and we're all just using whatever we can grab to, like, have this battle royale in our house. And even like the back of your card is like everyone in this cartoon
Chaotic,
cloud,
yeah.
and someone's got a potion, someone's got an axe, someone's wearing dress shoes and slacks. Like it's just
It's
like
called a clash.
it feels like an
interaction
ambush.
is called a clash.
But then when we do it, it's like
little too
you
clean.
all line up, and I look, okay, if I attack him, I know. So I walk over to the person I know I can beat. I hit them with my object, and they fall down, and I go, okay, and I walk back, and I stand in line and think,
Right.
am I going to get crushed
Yeah.
next? It's not a fight.
it's a game of dodgeball where you know who the weak kid
But
is.
you
and
can't
you're gonna
move.
chuck it at the weak.
Yeah.
Well, and there's no moving, there's
Yeah.
no defending.
There's no
Only
dodging
every
either.
once in a while. So I think doubling, I'm with Ryan and the rest of these guys, I think doubling the amount of what are these
Interactive
called?
cards,
These
the
Reactive
special cards.
cards,
Special
special
actions,
cards.
yeah.
I think that helps, but at the same time, it's not. I want to feel like I'm going to fight with these guys. I want it to be silly. I want them to, other people to be jumping in, like, and we're just going back and forth. I'd love to see a way bigger hand size, and we're just keep throwing down cards, and it's like, oh, well, this does that, and here you go.
That
Well,
would lead
I've
to longer
doubled
rounds,
this, and I've
too.
now cut you in half, and it's like the math going up and down, and more cards are flying in, and you could think of ways to penalize someone for building this, this huge battle. But to me, the theme starts that really fun picture in my head, and then the fight is like, boom, 7 beats 4, and then it's like, okay, yep, it does, and it just doesn't feel like that fun
Right.
kid
It should be
battle
a little
royale
more,
with
little more chaos to it.
everyone's wielding this funky, weird, different weapon. So
Well, if you've ever been in a pillow fight as a kid, you know the only time that stops is when somebody gets hit in the eye
Oh,
and starts
yeah.
crying,
Sure.
right? So everybody's
But
involved. It's chaotic.
it's all nostalgic, and I want to
Yeah.
feel like I'm a kid again. It's kind of slapsticky and fun, and take that. And again, the game works. I could see this being on the shelf in a big box store. I don't know if that's insulting. I
don't think so.
No.
I think you
that's
could
a
sell a
compliment.
ton of copies of this, as is. So I think it's fine. But to me, that's just a moment that felt. It wasn't a feel bad moment, as much as it was a
Missed
opportunity lost. moment.
Yeah, a mistake. It didn't quite meet your expectations.
Right.
RE chaos. You
Right.
expect a little bit more chaos out of this game after hearing
Yeah.
the rules than you got with the gameplay.
There
So-
is a fair amount of chaos with the way that you're writing the rules and the rules are being coming on the table. I like that chaotic feel, but then yes, as we're
Right.
talking about the clashes themselves, they're less chaotic than I would have imagined them.
But yeah, and even the getting, and I think that was brought into, more into sharper focus in the first round, where we got rid of essentially all of the
yeah.
rules, and then we were just playing like this vanilla game with no wacky rules, and you're just like, I kind of miss the wacky rules. I kind of missed that's like that last round where we were counting the words and not quite sure. Nope, yours isn't. Wait a minute, no, 7,
Yeah, it
8,
was
9.
fun.
Oh yeah, that was a lot more
That's fun,
fun.
yeah.
Just because we were a little less sure of what was going on. Like when it was so clean cut, 7's higher than 3, moving on, not as much fun as, no, it's got 8 words. Oh, crap, I didn't, oh, yeah, like that was just a little bit more fun. So, and then looking at your hand and figuring out your hand, and then the rules are revealed, and now your hand's totally different. Like, oh, I've got a bunch of high cards. Oh, I've got a bunch of low cards, because they all have one word on them. So, I think that was more like when chaos happens in this game and confusion happens in this game, I think it makes it more fun.
That's where it shines.
Well, and back in the last time we played, we were accumulating all
Right.
these rules, and that was actually really
That was
fun.
so fun.
Yeah.
The more chaotic the game gets, the more fun it is. And
So yeah, I would just maybe. So I think overall,
I have one more thing to
yeah,
say.
okay.
I would be also careful about using the blank make your own rule cards as a fallback for too much. Because you could say, well, you don't think there's enough chaos, write a rule for it. Well, you think it should do this, write a rule for it. But most people aren't going to write rules for something to make the game that much more dynamic. Out of the
Particularly
box.
first time.
Right. Or even the first few times, or most gamers aren't going to think, most people playing this type of a game casually with their friends as a party game aren't going to think like we are as gamers who are trying to hack everything, break everything, exaggerate the funny parts. And so I think it has to be more engaging and chaotic out of the box. And I would just be careful of saying too often, well, just if someone wanted that, they can write a rule for it. That's why we put the blank card in. If you're just relying on them to do too much, you might fall flat in a lot of cases.
Yeah, so I think overall you have a fun game, and maybe just make it a little more chaotic in interaction. And you have a fun game that's at its most fun when it's more chaotic. So lean into that and kind of take out the rules that discourage the chaos and lean a little heavier on the rules that encourage, or maybe introduce one or two more rules to kind of encourage a little more chaos and confusion. But other than that, I think you got a great game. Thanks a bunch and keep up the good work.